Hey, welcome back to our channel. Today we are diving into the juicy world of Am I the A-hole Reddit posts. Let's explore some crazy posts and decide who's in the right and who is in fact an a-hole. Grab a snack and let's get started. Okay guys, here we are again. Today we're going to be covering some Reddit Bridezilla stories. I can't wait to see what drama will unfold. Okay, our first story today is from Petty Deadly Native. Ooh, petty, so this could be quite fun. Okay, they said, am I a Bridezilla for saying I don't want my step witch in the grandparents' picture? Okay. I, 22 female, have a step witch, 84 female. She married my grandpa, 86 male, 13 years ago when I was 9. 2 months after my older brother died, which I think she planned. And my grandma died when I was 8. Okay. I'm very curious as to why you think that she planned to marry just after your brother died. That's like a whole can of worms I wish we could get into, but I don't think that information's going to be included, unfortunately. But okay, right. Evil step-grandparent, we like it. She was always very pushy about the fact that she is grandma now and I just have to get over it and accept that, which I don't and won't. My grandpa is also a massive pushover. She is very racist and prejudiced. My family are all natives, but she is a white South African. Okay, lots to unpack. So, I mean, I can understand why she would want you to call her grandma, especially if she's been with your grandpa for 13 years. That's a long time. But it sounds like she went around it in the complete wrong way. Like, if she wants you to consider her to be your grandma, then she needs to be a kind and loving grandparent to you, not just force her way in because she's married your grandpa. And to expect you not to love and miss your actual grandma is ridiculous. So I can understand why you don't have a good relationship with this woman, especially if she's racist and prejudiced. Now, from what you're saying, it sounds like she's racist and prejudiced towards you and your family because you're natives, which is crazy, especially since she's married your grandpa, who I'm assuming is the same race as you, but, I mean, maybe not. But she sounds like a really lovely woman, doesn't she? Okay. I mentioned I only wanted my actual grandparents in the grandparents' picture. Only my maternal and paternal grandpa would be in for my side because both of my grandmas are dead, which meant excluding the witch. My parents lost their minds saying that I have to get over with this step nonsense. She has been in your life for 13 years, so just bow down to her wishes. I said I didn't have to do anything. She will never be anything to me. She has never been anything to me. Ooh. Yeah, okay. So, this is a really tricky situation because I can understand why you don't have a close relationship with this woman. But I can also see it from your parents' point of view. She is your family, whether you like it or not, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, it's your wedding. So if you don't want her in the photos, that's your decision. And I think that your family just have to accept that. However, I think that by excluding her from the photos, you're probably going to cause a lot of trouble. Arguments on the day, potentially. A lot of drama on your wedding day, possibly shouting and fighting on your wedding day. I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. If she's as difficult as you say she is, then she's going to kick up a huge fuss and cause a massive scene on the day if you don't let her be in the family photo. And is it really worth it? You can always get her photoshopped out or something afterwards, you know. I don't know. My parents now think I'm a Bridezilla for excluding the step white witch. So am I a Bridezilla? Okay, I mean, to say the step white witch is now making you sound a little bit racist, so be careful with your words there. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that by excluding her from the photos, you're actually just going to cause a lot of drama, a lot of arguments, and a big scene on your wedding day, which I wouldn't want to do personally. So if it was me, I'd just let her be in the photos and maybe get somebody to Photoshop her out later if you really need to. You could do separate photographs. You could do photos with just the grandfathers, and then a photo with just the grandmas, and then she'll feel super happy because you did a photo just you and her. But then you have the photo of you and your grandparents, your grandfathers, and you can just throw away the one with her if you want to, but that way everybody leaves with a smile on their face. You get what you want, she gets what she wants, and there's no need for a scene on the day. So, but let's see what the other Redditors had to say. Okay, so ABCBD Mama said, perhaps ask each grandfather to hold a picture of your biological grandmothers for the pictures. Say that you want to honour both of your grandmothers who can't be with you on this most important day. And Beautiful Ant replied, I love this idea. That could be a gorgeous picture. Yeah, that's actually a really lovely idea. You could definitely do that. But again, like I say, have a separate photo with her in, just one photo with her in, so she doesn't feel excluded. But you don't have to keep that photo. You could have the photo that you want with just the people you want in it by using an excuse like that, which is also a beautiful idea and hard to argue with on her part. And then have a separate photo with her in, so she doesn't feel like you're excluding her. She feels like she's still part of the wedding. And you can just throw that photo away if you want to. Like, Blue Eyes 226 said, if you are paying for the photographer, then no, she doesn't need to be in the photos. However, if a family member is paying for the photographer, then take 2 sets of pictures with and without her. And the OP said, I wouldn't trust my family to pay for this. I just know they would use that to further control me like they have done my whole life. I mean, it sounds like you maybe have some issues with other people in your family as well, not just this step-grandparent. So, yeah, good luck, OP. I hope that everything goes smoothly on the day. Like I say, if it was me, I would just take 2 separate sets of pictures and be done with it, but it's your day, girl, you do what you need to do. Anyway, guys, tell me in the comments, do you think that she's a Bridezilla or not? I'm not sure. I think somewhere in the middle. I don't know. But yeah, please let me know in the comments. Let's talk about it. Okay, our next story comes from Don't Worry About It. And she said, I don't think it's best for me to be a bridesmaid in my friend's wedding. Ooh, juicy. Okay, I was asked in December to be a bridesmaid in my friend's wedding, and of course didn't really feel like I had a choice. Yeah, it does sometimes feel that way, doesn't it? Like if you say no, they're going to be really offended, but I also don't know if too much time has passed for me to tell her how I'm feeling. I don't believe there is a wedding date. If there is, I haven't been told yet. But I know she plans to be married in the beginning of 2025. I feel like my reasons for not wanting to be a bridesmaid are difficult to understand and sound like an excuse. I have very bad insomnia. I have a doctor for it. Thing is, I'm really bad with travelling as my insomnia gets much worse and I usually stay completely awake the first night. Will sleep like 1 hour at most the next, then 2 hours, and this will just continue until I get back home. When this happens, I usually throw up about twice a day from lack of sleep and honestly just can't function too well. Okay, I don't actually care about lack of sleep and being a bridesmaid. Okay, so I think that if you don't want to be a bridesmaid, you really need to tell the bride as soon as possible. If there is no set date yet, then you still have time to do it. But the longer you think about it and the longer you and are about it, the more that time's running out. So get in contact now and tell her your reason for not wanting to. I mean, I can understand not wanting to travel. That does sound like it's really unpleasant. But for me personally, if it was a very close friend, I would sacrifice myself for them, if that makes sense. You must have had to travel in other situations and thought that it was worth it for the person or for the reason why you were travelling. So unless there's something else that's holding you back, I don't think that's necessarily a good enough excuse. But it's a pretty good excuse. I don't know. Let's see what else you have to say. I don't actually care about lack of sleep and being a bridesmaid. I'm worried I'm going to ruin her day from the things I listed above, as being a bridesmaid requires a lot of me and I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I imagine the normal person isn't going to understand this. The next problem is financially, I'm not in the greatest spot. I was laid off in October and just found work again. I pretty much live week to week with bills and I'm not sure if I'll be able to afford the cost of being a bridesmaid. I wasn't given a price, so I'm not exactly sure what it will add up to yet. Okay, so you need to talk to the bride. Basically, my advice so far is just talk to the bride. Explain exactly what you're feeling. Say everything you just said. Talk about the insomnia, talk about how difficult it is to travel, talk about how you're worried you'll ruin her day, talk about your financial situation, and just have a discussion with her, because not all brides are actually bridezillas. Sometimes they're reasonable, you know. You can't assume that she's going to be completely unreasonable without actually giving her the opportunity to know what you're going through right now. You know, for one, she might understand, or she might say, you know, give you a safe space on the day that you can go back to, you know, let you know that there's a room that you could go and sit in for a while if you're feeling sick on the day. Maybe she isn't planning on making you spend lots of money on things that are involved. Sometimes, you know, some brides expect you to spend a lot of money to be a bridesmaid, but other brides pay for everything and don't expect you to spend anything. So financially, it might not be that big of a deal anyway. Yeah, I think you just need to talk to her and find out. Oh, my boyfriend and I are also planning to move in together at the end of this year, and I plan to use what I do have saved for that. The bride moved recently and is having her wedding there. It's in a different state and requires a 3-hour plane ride for me just to get there, which is already a separate cost from the bridesmaid duties. My family thinks I'm wrong for this, as we have been friends since first grade. My boyfriend sees what I deal with and thinks I'm better off not doing it. How do I go about this? Brides, am I wrong for this? I think that, like I said, you just need to talk to her. You really need to sit down and have a conversation with her, because she might be completely reasonable about this. The fact that you've known her since first grade, if you're really close friends with her, then suck it up and go to the wedding. Like, if she's a very close friend that you genuinely care about, just suck it up and go, because friendship is important. You know, if she's a good friend, you need to be at that wedding. If you're not at that wedding, then don't be surprised if your friendship ends up suffering because of it. Of course, if you have that conversation with her and suddenly she becomes an absolute bridezilla and demands a lot of you and expects you to pay loads of money towards the wedding, then by all means drop out. But at this moment in time, it doesn't sound like she's done anything to warrant you dropping out. And if she's a close friend, then you can put up with a bit of insomnia and travel sickness, because I'm sure you would for somebody else. It's only 3 hours away, it's not that big of a journey. But, you know, let's see what the Redditors had to say. Niles Mad said, if you don't want to do it, tell her now. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to be a bridesmaid. The sooner you tell her, the better. Yeah. Echo Azure said, tell her that you can't afford to be a bridesmaid, that you just can't afford the clothes, travel, extra gifts, parties, etc., and you don't see any possibility of change over the next year or two. Yes, she will be hurt, but the longer you wait to tell her, the more hurt she will be. Better to profusely thank her for the honour and decline on the grounds of being broke than to accept and quit later. I wouldn't bring up the insomnia. Of course it's real, but people who don't have insomnia just don't understand how much it can affect your life. Yeah, I think that's a really good suggestion. You absolutely need to talk to her, and you need to talk to her fast as well. If she's already expecting you to be a bridesmaid, she might have started making plans for you, and it's not fair. So talk to her, explain the situation. You know, if she's okay for you to drop out, do it. If she has suggestions like she's going to pay for everything, you don't have to pay, then do it for her. I mean, guys, tell me what you think. Do you agree? Would you drop out if you were in her situation? Would you have already talked to the bride at this point? Do you think that this is a bridesmaidzilla situation? I think potentially a little bit. It depends, but anyway, Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a talk about it. I love catching up with you down there. What did you think of the posts we discussed today? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.